y'all. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. This is season 3, episode 5. And before we get into it, happy Easter if you celebrate it. You know, he is risen. But I hope you have a wonderful day. And even if you don't celebrate, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. But, you know, he is risen. But let's get into this, y'all. So the episode opens up and we find out that Pepsi is the one that's going to be taking over that day. Like, he's hosting that day. So he actually has like Muay Thai instructors. And I'm like, did kickboxing come from Muay Thai, or is like Muay Thai like a variation of kickboxing? Either way, they have it's similar to kickboxing, and we see the instructors there. The only people that participate is Heather, Whitney, and Leah. Everybody else was like, I'm good on that. Porsha and Candace were like doing their makeup. You had Marisol and Alexia in the confessional room doing the 24 karat like eye patches underneath because, you know, they just tired. It's day 5 and everybody kind of like ready to go home, kind of. They're talking about how loud Candace can be. They're like, she got a microphone in her throat, which we've seen Candace get loud. Gizelle was like down where they were practicing or like participating, but she didn't participate. She just got in the pool and she was like steady on her phone the whole time. Pepsi was just in a good mood. Like, he was very jovial. Like, Pepsi seems like he's normally a pretty happy-go-lucky kind of person. So he was just excited to host the ladies that day and show them his country and the beauty of his country. So we see Gizelle call Pepsi to the pool and he sits down. He's like, what's up? And she's pretty much looking for that Casa Azul bottle. And she was like, I can't find my bottle. Where you think it is? And she was like, do you think one of the ladies put it in their room? And Pepsi was like, he didn't say no, he didn't say yes, but he kind of gestured like that's a possibility. So now Gizelle's on this like Mystery Inc. Incorporated Scooby-Doo mission to find out who took her bottle, or even if the bottle was taken. So we see her go into Porsha's room and they're talking about the argument that they had with Leah and Candace, and basically feeling like Leah and Candace want a moment, and like Gizelle's like, now you see why don't nobody like her on our show, and Porsha's like, yeah, she always got something to say, she just always ready for a fight. We then see, I think in either Heather's room, it was Leah, Heather, and Candace, and they were pretty much talking about an IG post. So Porsha posted this IG post, and I remember this like when it really happened. And like, she tagged everybody but Leah and Candace, and it did get a lot of people talking online where they were like, ooh, I knew they weren't gonna get along. Like Porsha knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing because a lot of articles came out. And when I say articles, I think like a lot of blog posts. That's what I mean. Not like, you know, accredited site. Like, it ain't no like in like, what was I about to say? Is it CNN, BCC? Y'all know what I mean. It's not like no CNN article. But like, you know, the blogs picked it up and we're like, oh, there's speculation that they're not getting along, and then there's constant fighting. And a lot of people had negative things to say about Leah and Candace, and even negative things to say about Porsha as well for what she did. So it's like Porsha knew what she was doing. Candace is like, if we confront her about it, she's gonna act like it's not that big of a deal. And then Leah says she gonna act like we want her followers, because that's what she gonna say, because Porsha like to act stupid, but we know she not stupid. And Candace is like, Portia's petty and she's toxic and she likes to play in the mud, and people try to like push her off like she don't, but she really do. And she does. Heather's sitting on the bed like, yeah, I thought it was shady as well, but Heather don't know how to speak up, and she too old and not to know how to speak up. So she was just like, yeah, it was petty. It did kind of come off like disrespectful in a way. And Leah's like, I don't know what her issue is with me. Mind you, I think it is absolutely and utterly disgusting that Leah is on her period and she has on no underwear. She has on this nice looking skirt, but it's cut out where like you like up, like, you know, on the waist area. So technically you can't really wear any underwear. But since it's that time of the month, why are you not? I'm sorry if anybody comes across this and they do that whole free bleeding thing. That is disgusting to me. That is so disgusting to me. As a woman with a vagina, that is disgusting to me. Like, I don't want to be around nobody who just out here just freely bleeding like that. And I've read articles because I tried to understand. I have tried to understand. And it's just the articles that are clicking, it's just, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. I just, I can't. It just does not. That doesn't make sense to me. And then on top of that, she got bubble guts too. So that means she's having monthly. Because I told y'all I called, that time of them a monthly, like an old 70-year-old lady. But she has. If you have been on your monthly and you have a vagina, you pass gas and it's gross. So she got the bubble guts and she on her monthly. An array of nastiness on that girl. Shit wrong. Okay, that's nasty, bro. It's gross to me. Ugh. So they're in the room conversating about it, but everyone's just like, yeah, y'all need to talk to her. Leah's just like, I don't get why Porsha don't like me, but we don't even really know each other, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna be begging nobody to be my friend. I'm just not doing that. And I agree with her. Don't beg nobody to be your friend. So we see them go down to the table. They're eating breakfast, and then they all pile into their sprinters to go to Phuket, because Pepsi tells them they're going to Old Town Phuket. In the sprinters, you got Heather, Whitney, Porsha, and Gizelle in one car together. Then you have Liam, Marisol, Alexia, and Candace in one car together. And Marisol and Alexia are asking Candace, like, are you going to be loud today? Because she has been very loud. And they keep flashing back to her, like, arguing and talking over people. And Marisol keeps talking about, when I'm having conversation with Candace, like, by herself, they're very good conversations. They're very insightful. But when I'm away from her and she gets into the group, she turns into a different person. And I feel like, I think when Candace is comfortable with someone, she's comfortable being like the very like calm part of herself. But when she's going up against Porsha and Gizelle, Candace gets into defensive mode and feeling like, okay, I'm gonna have to let these ladies know, don't try me, don't you ever try me. And it's like, it is kind of like a 180 where it's like, if you've seen somebody and they're calm with you, but then when they get in the group, it's like rah rah. It's like, yeah, you would be kind of like put off or very startled by that. But they're like, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. She's like, if I don't have to defend Candace even says, if I don't have to defend myself, bro, I'm fine. But if I feel like I got to, I'm going to defend myself. So they get to Old Town Phuket. We meet Pepsi's assistant. Her name is Nam, N-A-M, Nam. I think Nam. I think that's what she said she go by. Very nice lady. She seemed very sweet. They go into this like shop where they can buy things for the monks because the next day they're actually going to a Buddhist temple. And I thought what Marisol did was really like, that to me is a better gesture than I guess buying them toiletries. And I think the reason why is like because she was like paying it forward, so people who probably don't have the funds to like give a blessing to the monks, they could still come to the actual temple and pray, because Marisol was buying like a package that I guess it's like you give it to other people or they pass it out to other people so they're able to pray if they can't afford it. And I thought that was really like a thoughtful gift, even though toiletries and stuff like that is very important. It is hygiene is where we just talked about it with Leah. But I don't know, I just felt like what Marisol did was very like it was a kind gesture that you want to be able to allow other people to have time to have that moment of like spirituality and like prayer, so they can pray for themselves, to pray for whatever they need or to calm themselves in order to, like, because some people say praying calms them down. So I was like, okay, that was very sweet. They end up going to another shop. They're trying on outfits. Candace comes out in some outfit and Marisol's like, no, sweetie, no, it looked like a diaper on you. It didn't look good on Candace. But all of a sudden Leah passed out, or she trying to pass out. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. At first I took it very seriously when she fell out, but then she was like, where's Pepsi? I cackled because I said, Leah, you don't know that man from a can of paint. Why do you want him to hold your hand? And so we ended up seeing like the medics and the PAs come out. And what we find out is that like she seems like she's dehydrated. And I also feel like, it's a combination of her being on her monthly. You have that because you're supposed to like eat and be hydrated when you are going through that process, as well as she's having an issue eating the food. Like Leah is enjoying the food of Thailand, but it's giving her the runs, and then constantly like having like, you know, diarrhea can also dehydrate your body. So I was like, maybe she is dehydrated and needs a moment. Porsha felt like she was lying. I got what they were saying because she told everybody she wasn't wearing panties. So everyone was like, girl, why do you not have on panties? And I'm like, I'm with y'all. As well as they keep seeing her panties because they end up flashing to like her in outfits where her panties are shown. But it looked like she was dehydrated because she got very dizzy, and they said that it is extremely hot in Thailand. My sister went and she's like, yeah, girl, it's hot. It's hot. So they put an ice pack into her chest. She bought the last items that she wanted to buy, and then they immediately like took her back to the house so she could like chill out. If I was her, I'd have took it so I could have a break from everybody, to have that whole villa by myself. I'd be chilling in the pool or just relaxing and not even worrying about them if I was them, if I was Leah. But let's move on to the next couple of scenes. After they haul Leah off back to the villa, we end up seeing Heather, Whitney, and Candace go to the dispensary. I didn't know weed was legal in Thailand, but they got like edibles and like I guess infused drinks and you know, blunts and all that stuff. What was funny to me was Pepsi coming in there and was like, y'all know y'all got to smoke all of this here. Like, don't try to take that back to the U.S. Pepsi said, I don't need y'all getting locked up because I'm not coming to get you out. No, ma'am, no, sir. So while they're over there, we end up seeing the rest of the ladies go to sit down at at the next, like, I guess it was across the street or down the road, like a restaurant while they wait. And they were talking about like Candace and how they were like, Candace is a lot. And they were saying how loud she can be. That was Marisol and Alexia. Porsha was saying she feels like Candace wants a moment with her, and she was like, she just can't take it anymore. And Gizelle is just loving that everyone has something negative to say about Candace, so she can feel justified in her energy of being a total ass wipe on this trip. So we see Candace and the rest of the Heather and Whitney get back to the table. They sit down. They were asking her, like, girl, you like to smoke? Like, you know, are you an avid smoker? She was like, no. You know, I keep a blunt on me, you know, just to calm me down, because weed is legal in Virginia. And I think Candace lives in Virginia, and I think weed is also legal in D.C. I'm not sure if it's legal in Maryland, though, but I feel like if it's legal in D.C. and Virginia, it probably is legal in Maryland, because sometimes they go together. You know, if one do, the other do, but I'm not totally sure. But she was just like, yeah, I feel better. Like, she was like, but you know, sometimes I just get it to take the edge off. So they're sitting down at the table. They get a little bit of like appetizers set on the table. That food looks so good. That's the only reason why I would want to like really travel outside of the country, would be just to try different foods. Like, I like to try different restaurants where I am at, and like I'm an avid lover of like Asian food and like Mexican food, and even like, you know, my own food, soul food and stuff like that. But I'm never one to be like, I'll try something at least once, even if I think it looks nasty or I feel like it's not going to be good. I just want the opportunity to try it so I can be in my mind and be like, I ate it, I don't need to eat it again. That's just how I am. But that food on that table, looked good. So they're sitting down. Pepsi is sitting at another table. The actual like restaurant is packed with people, like just regular people. They looking at them crazy. I think behind them was a group of like tourists. They was looking at them funny, and then you had like people who are probably local to the area. They was just looking at them while they all just started arguing. Gizelle just hops into just accusing people about her bottle, saying that, you know, she can't find her bottle and she wants to know who took it. She said that Porsha isn't on the list because all Porsha really drinks is Hennessy, which tastes disgusting to me. I don't know how y'all be. I think the Hennessy Corporation has duped the black community, because that stuff ain't never been good to me. Everybody want to have a Henny party. Henny is disgusting to me. Okay. But she was like, all she drink is Henny. She doesn't think Alexia does it, because Alexia is really like a champagne person. She's not a person to drink like hard liquor. She doesn't think Whitney did it. So the main culprits to her is pretty much Candace, Heather, Marisol. She ended up later on scratching Leah off the list, because I guess Leah was with them that night, so she doesn't believe they took the bottle. She feels like Heather took the bottle because she can't believe anything Heather has said, especially pertaining to the black eye. She thinks that Marisol took it because Marisol talks about how the company that makes Casa Azul also has very small like bottles that are reminiscent to that bottle. And I even went on the website. I didn't know that they made like several other types of flavored tequila, because I like tequila. But like I saw the bottle comes in like black and purple and other different types of colors. So I guess they make miniature bottles as well. And Marisol, they do a flashback where she was like on the bus saying like, you would love the smaller bottles. Like they're really cute. And I mean, it is a very cool decorative bottle. So I could understand someone keeping it for like show. And then she got to Candace and said that she feel like Candace just thought the bottle was cute, so she wanted to take it. And it was just kind of like, for you to be that bold just to accuse people and be so accusatory and you don't have any proof, to me is out of pocket. So everyone starts yelling. Everyone's trying to tell Candace to calm down, especially Marisol, because you can see everyone looking at the workers is looking at them. One lady was like on her phone, like kind of like this. One of the workers, I said, oh, she gonna record this and come back and be like, girl, they was tripping at my job today. And she was just like, Candace, calm down. Everyone was just like, this is a mess. And I was just like, for Gizelle to be so like bold and just accusing people and she does not have factual proof is wild to me, because I'm never gonna accuse somebody and I don't have proof that you stole something from me. I've had to call somebody out from stealing from me, but I knew for a fact that that dude went in my bag and stole something from me. I knew for a fact that he did it because he was the only one around my bag when it happened, and he was the only one admiring my like the object that he the object that he took from me. So I was just like, Gizelle, you don't really know who took the bottle. Then Gizelle talking about, that's the only tequila she drinks. That's a lie, because we've seen you since season 1 of Real Housewives of Potomac drinking other drinks that have tequila in it. And I know for a fact it was no Casa Azul. It was probably regular Patron or like basic, like, it's Patron. What's the other one? It's Patron. I get it all the time. I can't believe it is not at the forefront of my brain because they have the gold and the white version. Is it Don Julio? Y'all know, I feel like I'll put a picture of the bottle that I'm talking about because it's like, it's in my mind, but I can't think of the name of it right now. But I was just like, it's not that deep. It is not that deep. And I even mentioned on Twitter, I was like, there's been plenty of times where I have bought alcohol for parties and I've bought it to take on trips. And if the bottle goes missing, I'm already like, either someone took it, okay, I bought it so we could all drink it, or we all drank it all and someone threw it in the garbage. And I think that's honestly what happened. They all drank all the alcohol and threw it in the garbage because the argument kept going. Then I think Marisol was like, well, just search our rooms. And Candace was like, I don't want her searching my room. And I was like, I wouldn't want her searching my room either. If I told you I didn't take it, you need to take that as what it is and keep it pushing, lady. Because who are you? Who are you? So they then switched the conversation to Candace talking about to Porsha, like, what is the issue between you and Leah? Because why did you post a picture and you didn't add me or her? And she was like, I don't like Leah. Like, I don't even know her. And I'm feeling kind of funny about her. And I didn't want to post her. And honestly, verbatim what Leah and Candace said Porsha was going to do, she did it. And my thing about Candace, and y'all know I like Candace, but unfortunately, Candace has been getting on my nerves because she's using words out of context. No one is bullying Candace. No one is cyberbullying Candace. The fans have done that to her, but no one in particular on this cast is doing it. To me, they're picking with her, but it's not outright bullying, especially when it comes to Leah. Leah has had a whiny attitude, kind of feeling like it's giving the energy that she doesn't want to be there. And then when she did what she did at that table with Alexia and everybody basically saying that lady's story was boring, people had a reason not to like her. So Leah put herself in that predicament. I think the issue is Candace is used to people crucifying her when she makes one mistake. So she feels the need to like protect Leah and stand up for her because she wishes her castmates would do the same for her, and they don't. But I don't think anyone's cyberbullying or bullying them. I do think they're picking with her and gaslighting her, because Candace is calling out their actions. But I think when she puts bullying or very serious like words, like buzzwords, it gets lost in translation. So then they don't take what she's saying seriously, and then people feel like she's whining. Because the moment Candace said she was cyberbullying, even though she had a point, everyone was like, girl, it's not that deep. And it's not, but she had a point, because like I said earlier on, when Porsha posted that picture, I remember everyone being like, ooh, I knew they weren't going to get along. And people had very negative things to say about Leah, Candace, and Porsha, because people were saying Porsha was petty for that. And they were like, Candace is probably getting on her nerves and being whiny and crying, and Leah's just probably being Leah, because a lot of people didn't like Leah on Real Housewives of New York. So Porsha knew what she was doing. No one gives a damn about your followers, Porsha. Who are you? As well as, you're not ditzy or stupid. You're very calculated. And the whole like, PJ needs milk or whatever, PJ needs to take a nap, referring to Candace as her daughter. Now, if Candace would have said something slick about your child, then you would have had an issue. So don't do that. Don't bring up your children and try to use your child to belittle and make a dig at somebody. And then when they cut back at you, all of a sudden it's, oh, she's talking about my child. Don't bring up your child first, and this wouldn't have been an issue. That's just how I feel. So the conversation continues, and Porsha ends up saying, like, Candace, I was going to pull you to the side, and I was going to talk to you so we could have a conversation, because I wanted to understand why you went from zero to, why always you want to go to 0 to 1,000 with me. And I remember, like, y'all, I looked at Porsha and I was looking at my screen while I was watching, and the way I just had to cock my head to the side, and I rolled my eyes so hard I almost gave myself a headache, because I was like, sis, like, are you are we serious right now? Like, are we, let's call a thing and a spade a spade. Porsha is the last person to ever talk to somebody about going from 0 to 1,000. When the last time we saw you on TV, you and your family were jumping your ex-boyfriend because he was trying to defend his mom from you lunging at him. There's pictures of you throwing plates at him. There's visual footage of you grabbing film equipment to hit him over the head with a boom mic. Your family, your sister attacked him. Your aunt, who was certified crazy, and her daughter was trying to get at him. Your little cousin lied about that man assaulting her. So what are we talking about, Porsha? Your cousin said he beat on her, and we have visual proof that he was nowhere near her, and the bruises and the cuts that she had on her body came from you acting like a wild child who couldn't get it, like throwing a tantrum because you couldn't get at him. And your husband, that other lady's husband that you decided to marry, was holding you back like this while you say he touched my family, when it should have been the other way around. Your family touched him. If we're not even gonna, if we're gonna push Porsha Family Matters aside, let's talk about before you got there. Before we got to this point, we saw you dust the floor with Kenya, and honestly, I gave you a pass on that one because I felt like Kenya was doing too much. But the fact still remains, you couldn't handle the way that she was coming at you, so you decided to get violent. Then we had you getting kung fu kicked in the pussy by Cynthia because you were looming over her like you were about to attack her. You were about to attack, and she felt threatened and got in defensive moment right in the guts, sis. Then there's an actual visual proof in a mugshot of you because you ran down an alleyway to attack somebody that used to be your friend during a Christmas party, nonetheless, on celebrating the birth of Jesus. Girl, you are the last person to ever talk about someone going from 0 to 100 and not being capable of like having a civil conversation, when just because you married that lady's husband does not mean you have grown. What are we talking about? Does not mean you have grown. I was like, who are you? Gizelle over there laughing, and I'm looking at Gizelle like, man, you are such an asswipe. You are such an asswipe. So they get on their sprinters because at this point, Pepsi is tired and through. He embarrassed everybody looking at him. He got other tourists looking at him. His that could be his cousins or his local friends. They all looking at him like, This who you let in your villa? You know, the workers is filming. Like, he is embarrassed. He's like, let's go home. So then they get on the sprinter. It's Pepsi, Heather, Whitney, and Candace on one sprinter. Then Marisol, Alexia, and Porsha and Gizelle on another sprinter. Everybody on that sprinter is of the mind that Candace just wants a moment. She just wants a moment. Marisol brings up being like a little caught off guard by Gizelle trying to like Nancy Drew them and figure out who stole her bottle. But they really do feel like Candace wants a moment. Just let them, they don't think it's that deep that Gizelle wants to search everybody's room. You then have on the bus Heather saying that, Gizelle is the alpha and she just trying to play these games. And she wanted to Teresa Judice the table. And Whitney is like, girl, then why didn't you say that? And Heather's like, that's not who I am, even if I think it. And I'll give Whitney a point. Sis, yeah. Say it. If that's how you feel, say it. A lot of people been feeling like Heather is just a fan that became a housewife person, and she is a fan that became a housewife. Just like I remember a lot of people talk about now with 90 Day Fiance, how a lot of the people on 90 Day Fiance, you can tell were fans of the show and possibly just wanted to be on the show, so they started to date somebody overseas, because it's giving that with Heather. Like, Heather is too excited and she does that whole self-deprecating stick, and it doesn't work because it's like, Heather, you're on the same show as them. It's not like you're trying to, like, it's not funny. That's just the truth. It's not funny, and it gives the air that you have very low self-esteem and you really need to check yourself into the next, like, therapy session or facility to, like, really help you regulate that. And it's like, I can't tell if it's low self-esteem or if she's just playing a character, but it's starting to get on my nerves because at this point, say what you mean and mean what you say. Because Heather was about to say something and Gizelle was like, can I talk, when they were sitting at that table? And I would have told Gizelle to kiss my ass real quick. Because who you talking to? Because I'm not your child. I'm not Grace, whatever them other kids' names, Adore and Prayer. I'm not now one of your children for you to be speaking to me like that. Oh, 50-year-old spinster. So they get to the house. While they're walking up to the house, Marisol's talking about Whitney and how she really don't see it for Whitney, because when Gizelle was yelling at Heather at the table, telling her, like, I'm talking, and how Gizelle was saying, like, I believe that Heather took it because I don't believe anything that Heather says, Whitney was laughing, which she was, and Marisol said, I would never laugh at you. When she was talking to Alexia, she was like, that was just in poor taste. That's supposed to be your family. So they get back in the house and we find out that at the end of the night, Marisol is hosting the night event and they're going to make like their own cocktails and stuff like that. While they're there, like in the house, Candace immediately goes to go check on, Leah. She knocks on the door, she comes in and she sits on the bed and she's like, yeah, I brought up the whole IG situation. She was like, Porsha really don't like you. And Leah's like, okay, I don't get how you don't like me and we've only known each other for 4 days. It's not that deep, but like, girl, you did that on purpose. Like, you can't be stupid and smart at the same time, acting like that whole IG thing wasn't what it was, when it was what it was. It really was what it was, okay? It really was. So you got Gizelle being angry, really yelling at Wes. Wes is cute. The PA, with his hair in a point. That man was cute. I said, oh, he is attractive. But Gizelle, because at the table, Candace pretty much says, I don't mind anyone searching my room, but it's not going to be Gizelle. It's not going to be Gizelle. And Gizelle is like yelling at them. Like, I told y'all, she said she can search her room. Y'all need to search her room. Like, and we're like, okay, we can get Pepsi to do it. And she was like, no, I need someone who's invested that's going to search her room. And she is like, Gizelle is like giving out orders, like speaking very like nasty towards these people. Cause there's one way that you can talk to people and like with a sense of urgency in your voice and still be respectful. But she is talking to them like she paid them and she don't. And I'm just like, y'all have created a monster, because the fact that she thinks she can speak this way, and this lady has not given us no good content since season 3 of Real Housewives of Potomac, is y'all's fault. So the way she was speaking to them was out of pocket. She then barges into Leah's room. She didn't even knock on the door because she wanted to go in through, because we know Leah and Candace Their rooms are attached. She wanted to go through Leah's room to get into Candace's room. And I was like, it should not be that deep. Like, you are giving broke behavior. When Candace was like, is them like alimony checks from Jamal not clearing no more? Because why are you this pressed over a $150 bottle of alcohol? On top of that, Candace was like, I don't need that alcohol, ma'am. Like, I don't need it. Like, my husband has connections with all these these vendors for alcohol. If I really wanted a bottle of alcohol, I would get it. And my thing was like, I'm like, is the bottle that hard to find? Because I've never had that brand of tequila. But I typed it in. You could go pick that shit up at Total Wine. So I'm looking at Gizelle like, you are doing too much. Absolutely too much over this bottle. And I'm like, when you get the bottle back, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna, like I said on Twitter, is she gonna rush home like she's living in a frat house and put the bottle at the top of her cabinets? Like, is she is acting, Gizelle is acting like one of them, like a sophomore who just moved off of campus to move in with her best friends, and every time they have a party or a kickback, the empty bottle lines their cabinetry in the kitchen. Because I'm like, it's $150, sis. It's not that deep. And I'm saying this like, for one bottle, I would be like, oh my gosh. But you took it on a trip. You took it on a trip. So my thing about it is, I'm like, maybe you misplaced it, or maybe the staff threw it away because it was empty. That bottle look about this big. It's 8 of y'all. Y'all could probably only get like at least a good 8 shots. Like, now I'll say y'all probably only get like a good 16 or maybe 20 shots from that bottle. So for her to be acting this way is asinine, and it's crazy because it's like, Gizelle, and like, I'm going to save it. I'm going to hold it, but I'm going to say it. Like, I was mad. I'm not even going to lie. I got visibly annoyed and visibly upset seeing Pepsi cry. Like, when he was sitting on the floor crying, and I was like, Gizelle, like, do you really get off on doing this type of stuff? Like, do you really get off on doing this type of stuff? Because there was a point where I really liked Gizelle. I'm not even going to lie. Season 1 through season 3, I wasn't Team Gizelle, but I really enjoyed her. But beyond that, Gizelle has gone downhill for me. And it's like, I went back and watched like old clips of like each season, and I was like, yeah, what has Gizelle done in order to exhibit the behavior that she's exhibiting now? The way that she was talking to production, I was like, who is she to be talking to people like this? She acting like she paid them, and they're all looking at her like deer stuck in headlights. And I'm just like, why does she need to check Candace's room so badly? And even like Whitney says, this is nothing about the bottle. It's about making a fool of Candace, which is true, because I'm like, I don't even think the bottle is in her room. I genuinely think they threw that thing away. I genuinely think they threw that bottle away, because I'm like, it's just a bottle of tequila, sis, and it's $150. And I've never spent that on one bottle, but I spent a good amount of money on alcohol for other things. And it's like, it ain't never that deep. Like, Gizelle was giving very broke behavior, and like, you're supposed to be a lady of means, and I know you've spent more than that on alcohol. So why is it so deep for you to have this bottle? And it's wild because we know that Gizelle, like, everybody is coming back for season 8 of Real Housewives of Potomac, and I'm just like, if she's exhibiting the same antics on that show, I'm seeing a very, very, very harsh downfall for Gizelle. A lot of people offline really do like Gizelle. I've seen a lot of people like on other like social media sites like TikTok and even like Facebook and sometimes on Instagram go up for Gizelle. But I think at this point we're getting to a point where it's like, this is not fun anymore. Like, excuse me. A lot of my, some of my mutuals really like Gizelle, and some of them still do, but they will always be like, oh, Gizelle just is like an unserious kind of kooky old lady. And it's like, yeah, in the beginning, but now she's coming off bitter. and very like spinster and just very mean spirited. And I hate using the term bitter. I hate when people call older women, especially older black women, bitter. I just don't like using that term because I feel like it's used so much and it's never used correctly. But with Gizelle, it's giving that. It's giving that you're angry and you're just being mean spirited. Like, why do you feel like you have the audacity to barge into somebody else's room so you could walk into another room? And I'm needing people to start checking Gizelle, because had I been on there, I would have told Gizelle to kiss the blackest part of my you know what, and I'd have told her, you come up in my room, I'm going upside your head. Because I've told you several times, do not search my stuff, because then we gonna start playing these games, because you go up in my room, I'm trashing your room. What we doing? Don't play with me, lady. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And it's just like, I don't get how y'all, like, Gizelle's not fun anymore. Seasons 1-3, I enjoyed Gizelle because it was funny. When they took that pizza to Karen's house in Greater Falls, that was funny to me. That was like, oh, that's like comical, trying to see if she's there. But beyond that, what has Gizelle given us? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. None of her reads are funny. Tell me one read from Gizelle that you can think of off the top of your dome that you cackled at. You can't think of nothing because she ain't got nothing. And I'm just like, she made me so angry. To see Pepsi cry pissed me off, because it's like, we don't know if this job is his sole income. And we're not going to act like when word starts to spread around that your things getting stolen at Villa I, that will stop people from going there. And then people will automatically point fingers at the staff like they stole something. So to me, it's very disrespectful to go around accusing people and you don't have no factual proof. As well as, girl, if it's that deep for that bottle, you can talk to production and tell them to run the tapes back, and I'm pretty sure they will. And honestly, I don't even think the bottle is missing. I think it was empty and they trashed it. Like, she's not fun anymore. She's not. Like, she's not fun. Like I said, Gizelle's an ass wipe. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.